When we arrived there, I literally thought that I was going to get stabbed or robbed at least. Right guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to be doing a story time kind of video where I kind of tell you the beginning of my modeling career and how I started modeling. Now, to fully tell this story, I need to actually start a few months before I was actually discovered, and that is because I was back then in a relationship, and my girlfriend back then, now my ex-girlfriend, she basically cheated on me, which, as you can imagine, left me with a lot of trust issues and a lack of self-esteem. And I basically just threw myself into sports, into school, working out, training for track and field.
I'm fast as fuck, boy.
And the gym was kind of my therapist, and I basically used this time period to kind of get better and better myself. A few months later, after I'd started throwing myself in the gym and just training for track and field, I basically went to a bar with a few of my friends. After one of my track and field competitions, I was actually wearing my usual track and field outfit. I walked into this bar and Anton actually approached me there. Anton, who is now my really close friend, but also my mother agent. He owns a modeling agency in the Philippines, and he basically told me about it. He was like, "Oh, we're currently recruiting international models, and if you're interested, just give me a call." And he gave me his business card so that if I was interested, I could call him. Now, in this moment, I was with a few of my friends, so I was obviously like, "Hey, yeah, that's right. He walked past you, but he approached me." Of course, when he approached me and told me that I could be a model, I was like, this is some bullshit. I don't think I could be a model. I had my low self-esteem and I was like, no way, that's right.
No.
One thing that didn't help with this whole thing was that this bar wasn't actually in the best part of Manila, and it was in the back of some Indian bar, so I didn't really trust any of this, which is why I never actually wrote to Anton. He was just commenting on my Instagram posts because I gave him my private Instagram and I accepted his follow request, so that was his only real way of reaching out to me. Now, Anton later told me that it was actually incredibly difficult to reach out to me because I was such an inactive person on social media. I didn't have a Facebook account. I barely used Instagram, never really posted on there, which I know nowadays is quite hard to imagine. But back then I was really not into all of that. Either way, a few months later, after ignoring his messages for around 3 months, he messaged me and said that he would actually be willing to set up a meeting with my parents to kind of show that he's genuine and that it's a real agency, it's not something shady. He got quite lucky with that message because it actually came right when I was going to dinner with both of my parents. And so I was like, you know what? Why the fuck not? And so I asked them and they were like, yeah, why not? Who cares? Try it. And so I set up a meeting with Anton and my dad. I think a couple of weeks later, my dad and I were driving to this place, and it was in a very sketchy area. This was back in the early New Monarch days when they had their other office. And when we arrived there, I literally thought that I was going to get stabbed or robbed at least. But everything went well, and we basically had our first test shoot and our contract meeting, which went super well. And so that's how I started working with Anton and New Monarch Manila. If you want their Instagram links, they're in the description below. Since then, we've been working together successfully, which has now been around 4 years, which is crazy. And I'm obviously hoping that this continues and that I can actually go back to the Philippines as well to work with them there. That would be ideal. Now, there's often this misconception that a model's life is easy. Oh, all you do is party, you have so many good friends, everyone loves you, you're liked by all girls, you're the center of attention wherever you go. And I just wanted to say that that is simply not true. If anything, for me, in my personal experience, it's even done the opposite. Many people actually prejudge models as very arrogant, stupid, and simply unpleasant. When I personally started modeling, many people saw me as an asshole just because I was doing modeling and posting on Instagram more often. And this prejudgment came all over the place, whether it was at school or in my football team. There were so many people talking behind my back, not only in my grade, there was people around the entire school making fun of me, and even my brother at some points for being related to me, which is fucking insane. How do you even do that? I don't know. And my so-called friends back then, they stopped talking to me and started ignoring me for an entire week, as if we were like second graders or like in a Netflix drama TV show or something. And it was just things that were super immature, like, leaving the table when I would sit down. And I was basically eating alone for this time period. On the other hand, I have to say that this was during high school, so maybe it's just high school in general. But I just wanted to let you guys know that models are not excluded from this kind of behavior. It happens to a lot of people, and so high school is just shit. If you're currently going through something like this, then I want you to know that people usually have a difficult time adjusting to changes, and that's why a lot of people struggle with with you being a little bit different than you were before. The right people will be able to process what you are going through, and most people that you meet after you've done this new change will actually appreciate it and think of you as someone more individual and not judge you as harshly about it, because it's actually something that makes you you, and you actually become more interesting through your new individual quality because you actually changed in the direction that you wanted to. Now, as you can probably imagine, this doesn't just apply for modeling, this applies for anything that you want to do with your life, whether it's about your hobbies, your current job, or even your sexuality. Change is often something that is faced with a lot of pushback from everyone around you that already knows you and has this definition of who you are, but that definition doesn't have to stick, and it's more important what you think of yourself and that you're happy with who you are. Now, something positive to take away from all this pushback is that you actually know you're doing the thing you want to do, because you're constantly being questioned and asked if you're sure you want to keep doing this, or if you're sure you want to go down this path. And if you've questioned yourself millions of times and come up with the same answer every single time, then you can stand much stronger in this path that you've selected, because you know that that's actually what you chose. Now, this is actually still something that I'm dealing with right now, because I'm still modeling and people always question it. Are you sure this is the right path for you? Are you sure? Blah, 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 blah. And every time I'm like, listen, this is my life. If I want to do this with my life, then I can. You don't have to agree with that. I have met so many people that still think that I'm going down the wrong path with my modeling, Instagram, YouTube, and generally all of that, because they think that I should focus fully on my studies rather than all of this extra shit that I'm doing, which they don't think is worth it and will never get anywhere. So you guys can prove them wrong by hitting the like button. Now, as you can probably tell, this whole video isn't just about modeling, but it's about doing what's right for you rather than following the path that everyone else thinks you should be following. It is about taking the opportunities that are presented to you if you really want to, and basically being who you want to be regardless of the peer pressure. No one else is actually living your life with you in your body, and you're kind of stuck with yourself for the rest of your life. So it is definitely worth building a character that you like and becoming someone who you can actually stand to be around for the rest of your life. Now, if you do enjoy these deeper kind of videos where I talk about some more personal topics, then please make sure to let me know in the comments. I hope that some of you guys are inspired and motivated to go out and do what you love rather than do what everyone expects you to do. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video.